Hi, today we'll be taking a look at the 4 main decks that you can build from the latest Vanguard EB11 featuring Bermuda Triangle. So we have Korra, Pacifica, Revere, and of course an upgrade to our old Melody decks. Okay, we will start off with the upgraded version of the Melody deck. So for the grade zeros, it's exactly the same as the previous build, which is 4 draw, Kanzen, 8 critical, and 4 heal. Exactly the same. Right. So for the grade 1, actually we didn't change much too. We have 4 chill. This is Stasia. 2 copies to recycle our grade 3s. 3 copies of Aurora to recycle our hand at the start of the game. Right, we are not planning to play any of the grade 1 Melody from the supply set. Main reason is because when we play things such as Sonata, we try to pull out as much advantage as we can, and pulling out the grade 1 onto the field isn't really helpful. Right, even though we do get additional effect from the grade 3s, but if possible, I want to have more varieties of abilities. Right, so for the grade 2, which is the main changes, we changed all of them to the Melody units, and we will go through the more important ones. First, we have Sonata, which gives the unit power plus 5000 when attacking. Right, we played 3, but I think 2 is enough. Next, we have Chiaro, which is a very good addition to the deck. When this card enters field from hand, Soul Blast 2, search from your deck a unit with the same name as your grade 3 Vanguard and add it to the hand. This card with this name, units with this name can activate once per turn, right? So you may want to play up to 3 copies, or 2 copies will do, since it's coming to play from hand, right? And we have Serena, which you can play up to like 3 copies. It's very useful at the start of the game. When the attack hits a Vanguard and you have 4 or less cards in hand, you get to draw 1. Next, we have Cannon. So enter the field. Soul Charge 1. If you have Vanguard with Melody, during this turn, during this unit's attack battle, your opponent must call 2 or more to guard. Right. Next, we have Fina. So if you have a unit, your Vanguard with Melody, this unit get guard plus 10,000, so this is a 15,000 guard. If you have the previous Fina on the field, when intercepting is actually 25,000, which is very useful. Next, we have 4 of the Sonata, 4 Chiaro, and for now we may want to change out Serena for additional Fina. Right, so this is our upgraded version of the Melody deck. Alright, next we will take a look at the new Korra deck. Right, so we will start with the grade 0. So the new first Vanguard is a must. Right, you need as many units with Korra in name as possible. Right, and we don't really need any more draw triggers. I'll explain later. So we are playing 12 crit. Right, so 12 crit, and as usual, Korra is a must, so 4 copy of her. 4 copy of the grade 1 new Kanzen, which you get to draw and drop if you write it. And we have Tico. So activate, counter plus 1, send this unit into Soul, choose a unit with Korra in name, it gets power plus 15,000 during this turn. Right, and once again we have Aurora to help us cycle our hand. Korra again. And we have the Chinese fish, Pyongyang. So enter the field. If you have a Vanguard with Korra in name, counter plus 1. During this turn, opponent when guarding must call 2 and above. Alright, so you only need to activate one time, so we're only playing 3 copies. Lizelote to help call out the field, and it's free, and it even helps you to soul charge. 4 Coral, and 4 of the support, Mira. Right, so we will explain one by one. So first, 4 Mira. Enter the field, counterblast 1. Search for Aurora Star Coral to hand, and shuffle the deck. This is a Vanguard effect. So if you were to write the wrong grade 3, you get to search for the correct one. And continuous as a rear guard. During your Aurora Star Coral's attack, your opponent can only call grade 0. Alright, not even protect marker, not even the grade 1 Kanzen. They can only call grade 0. And with a combination of Pyorian, your opponent must call 3 grade 0 just to guard 1 attack. Alright, which is very, very useful. You can just put it at the back of the field. Right? So why we didn't play any of the draw triggers, very simple. Right, the grade 1 and 2. Right. When enter the field, soul charge 1. And if your Vanguard is Coral, soul charge 1. Same goes for the grade 2. This is a compulsory effect, and the last time we tried with draw trigger, we actually nearly deck out, right? So after a few tries, we decided that it would be better if we just go for 12 crit. And this is a very fast-paced deck, and it's very, very easy to activate the Coral's first effect, where if you were to Soul Blast 4 during this turn, all unit with Coral in name get critical, basically a force 2 marker. And so what the combo is very simple. Activate, Counter Blast 1, Soul Blast 2. Return 1 unit from your rear guard and your drop zone. Normal unit, 1 each. And if you were to return a unit with Coral in name, this unit get power plus 15,000. So you try to return the grade 2. After that, enter the field, Soul Charge 2 again. And activate. Soul Blast 2, this unit get power plus 10,000. If you have a Vanguard with Coral in name, get another 5,000, 15,000. So basically you have Force 1, Force 2 on the field at the same time. And since Soul Blast 2, Soul Blast 2, so this is the best way to get the Soul Blast 4 effect. Right, so this is Coral. Okay, next we'll take a look at the Pacifica deck. Okay, so for the first Vanguard, you can use any one of them. It doesn't matter. For trigger, we are playing, once again, we are playing 12 crits. Basically, because Pacificas have the ability of a triple check, so we try to end the game as fast as possible. Right, so next we have Rapro. After boosting a rear guard, counterblast 1, send this, return this unit back to hand, and look at top 7 of your deck, search for top idol Pacifica, review and add it to your hand. So it's a card that allows you to pull Pacifica to hand. So 4 copies, 4 Kanzens. Next we have Serio. Enter the field, counterblast 1, look at top 7, add up to 1 top idol Pacifica and 1 Poisa, which is the support grade 3. 1 each, up to 1 each, sorry. And shuffle the deck. Then if your opponents and your Vanguards are grade 1, you can actually Soul Blast instead of counterblast 1. Right, so I'm playing 3 copies. It's very situational. And next, Soda, which is a very, very important card in this deck. And you only need 1 copy on the field at any point of time, so we are only playing 3. Right, if you want, you can actually substitute one of the Tepro for these 4 copies instead. Next, another Searcher. This time is a grade 2 version. Enter the field. From your drop and your damage zone, add up to 1 each of Pacifica to your hand. And if you were to add from a damage zone, put the top of your deck into damage zone. Right, this card with the same name can activate once per turn. Right, one each, so you can actually pull 2 Pacifica in one shot. Next we have Lizilote, of course. And we have another grade 2 support, which is Freta. Enter the field, discard 1 card from hand, draw 1. And you may counterblast 1 and return 1 Pacifica from a drop to hand. Right, a 3 copy. Not as useful as the rest, but still good. Next we have Pacifica. So the effect is very simple. Activate once per turn, Soul Blast 1. If you have 1 or more Pacifica on the field, rearguard, this unit get power plus 10,000, drive plus 1. If there are 2 or more, you get 2 force marker. If there are 3 or more during this turn, when opponent guard, they must discard 3 or more. Right, so it's a finisher. Next we have Urushira. Enter the field, counterblast 1 from your deck or drop. Add up to 1 Pacifica to hand and shuffle the deck. Right, so as you can see, there's a lot of searcher. Right, so we don't really need any draw triggers. So the ideal case, normally we have at least 3 of them, 1 as Vanguard, 2 as Rearguard. Right, so with this unit, it allows your Rearguard with the same name as your Vanguard to gain boost. Right, so we can actually have 3 Pacifica at the back row, like this. Right, and another attacker. And even if they will get destroyed, you have a lot of cards that can actually return them back to hand. Just take note that the biggest weakness of this deck is actually Narukami. If any of the Pacifica get bind, it's very hard for you to go back to the field. Right, so even if your opponent would use Kagero to bomb your field, you can still return them back. Right, so this is Pacifica. Alright, last but not least, we have Revere, which is the grade 3 that was revealed at the very end. So once again, we have Revere grade 0, which is a must play. This time around, we are playing 6 draw triggers. Right, since this deck requires a lot of cards in hand to activate. We were thinking about 8 draw at the beginning, but it's a little overkill. Right, there's no pressure if there's no critical trigger in the deck. Right, so first of all, we have the grade 1 Revere. From the hand, you can Soul Blast 1 and write this card onto a grade 1. Look at top 7, add up to 1 card Revere to hand, shuffle the deck. If you Soul Blast the grade 0, you get to draw 1. And continuous as a Rearguard, if it's at the back row, this unit get power plus 2000, which is a 10,000 boost. Alright, so previously when we tested it, we actually keep riding on the grade 1 to pull out Revere as fast as possible. Definitely a 4 copy. Next we have Stacia again, to return back any of the Revere that gets thrown away, Soul Blast away, back to deck, sorry. We have Evie. So when a Revere enters the field and you have 1 or less face up card in your damage zone, retire this unit and draw 1, counter charge 1. Right. We seldom get to counterblast that much, so we're only playing 2. 4 copies of Aurora to recycle the hand at the start of the game. And we are playing 2 Chiaro. You may want to play up to 3, but for me 2 is comfortable enough. So we enter the field from the hand, Soul Blast 2, search for unit with the same name as your grade 3 Vanguard, which is normally Revere. It helps you to pull out the combo faster. Right, but maximum I think 3 copies is the limit. Next we have another Revere, grade 2. And once again, if your Vanguard is grade 2, you may write this from your hand and draw 1 and call up to 2 of the grade 1 onto the Rearguard circles. Okay, as a Rearguard, once per turn, when your Revere Vanguard enters the field, you get to stand it. Right, our MVP in this deck, which is Irene. So when a Vanguard with Revere enters the field, during this turn, this unit get power plus 10,000. Alright, definitely an MVP, I'll explain in a while. Liselote will playing 2 copies. Alright, so let's go for the main grade 3, which is Revere. So what this do is very simple. Enter the field, counterblast 1, discard 1 card from your hand, draw 2. And the scariest part is the second effect, which is after attacking battle, you may discard 2 cards from your hand and write up to 1 card with Revere in name on top of this card, and it gets drive -1. So as we say, this MVP, first grade 3 turn, we write this, power plus 10,000, attack, pay the cost, write a second one, plus 10,000 again, so you can keep looping. You can get up to 40,000 straight to this unit just from writing, not including any of your triggers. Alright, so and you get restandard at the same time. So you get to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, up to 7 attacks in a turn. And this is the main support, Marianne. So if your Vanguard is the Revere grade 3, you can discard this card from hand, draw 1, put 1 card from your drop into soul, and if you add a card with Revere in name, you can return it back to hand, and once per turn. Right, so this is actually a very fast-paced deck. So the main pattern will be to set up the field, and once you are ready with at least 2 other Revere in your hand, you try to go for 1 turn kill. Right, so that's Revere.